So, common language of teaching and learning. Again, we talk about project-based learning. Here's what we're talking about, right? That whole idea is if you give a test, you're not really doing project-based learning. This is what I call the hierarchy of assessment. And it's a, again, it's a convenient about this stuff. But this is a recall-based classroom, where what you do on the test is the most important. This is understanding-driven classrooms. And again, tests and quizzes have a role, and they can fit anywhere in there, whatever. We can have arguments about the value of homework and all the rest of it. But the point is, the most important work in this model is the work the kids do. And then we can make sure that we've developed systems for inter-rater reliability. We can make sure that we've developed systems of common language of assessing these things. We can make sure that the kids have an understanding of what we're asking them to shoot for by using standards-based grading and things like that. So that way it's not just fluffy, fluffy bunnies and duckies all the time. Because that's the knock on project-based learning, right? It's not rigorous enough. Of course, the truth is, or when done right, let me stay away from big idea truths. The funny thing is when done right, project-based learning is much harder. Because you got to figure it out. Man, I was awesome at test-based learning. Test-based learning was great. I've got a good memory. Or I used to. It's cheese now. I can study this stuff for a night, knock out the test, and then not care about this forever? Awesome. So, one of the things I said, right, and again, just out of curiosity, how many of your schools do advisory or family group or something like that? Right, and again, I'm speaking, we stole this idea from you, thank you. When we say we teach kids, not subjects, to me, where does that, and I had this whole conversation, I got into it with somebody recently, where they said, oh, we do that too, and I said, great, where does it live? And they said, what do you mean? I said, where's the place in your schedule where you actually can prove to me that you care about kids more than the subjects you teach? And they said, what do you mean? I said, where? Right. How do you show that you care about kids? If I'm a child in your school, when am I the most important moment? And they said, we don't have that. And yet that is, and again, independent schools get this right, advisory. Right? So we have a 4-year longitudinal advisory. The first teacher you officially meet at SLA is your advisor. They stay together all 4 years. We do narrative report cards, again, stolen directly from the private schools. Right? You sit down, your advisor sits down with your parent and your child. Now, do you do student and parent conferences or just parent conferences? Right, so you guys get this. Good. Moving on. ILPs and capstones. When we say, what if high school wasn't just preparation for real life? What if high school was real life? When do you give them the opportunity to do that? When is that structured? So at SLA, we have real experiential learning. In the 9th grade, our entire 9th grade goes to the Franklin Institute and works with Franklin Institute faculty, doing all kinds of really cool, interesting things. In the 10th and 11th grade, Luke Van Meters, our ILP coordinator, his parents are here, he coordinates 250 ILPs. ILP stands for Individualized Learning Plan. Kids get to say, here's what I'm interested in doing. Who can I partner with? Where can I do this? How can I do this? And we have over 90 partners we work with all over the city. And it's everything from college classes to paralegal work to being part of a laboratory, not being a lab experiment, no, but being a junior researcher in a being a junior researcher in a lab up at Drexel or Penn or something like that. Two, a lot of our kids, not surprisingly, want to go back to their elementary schools and middle schools and work as teachers, assistant teachers in the classroom. And that's become a really cool thing. And we got a lot of our kids who go back and actually now are trying to spread the gospel, which is kind of cool. The schedule, right? We talked about this. We all admit it. It's crazy. Now, so, and I never remember what period it is. The kids don't memorize this. I am always the most lost person in my building. But, again, 90 minutes, bomb long, bomb hard. That's hard. Also, math and language and world language teachers tend to hate the block because the daily practice is still really important. And that's an honest reason to hate the block. So we split the difference. 65-minute classes 4 times a week. Long enough to do the kind of learning we're talking about, but frequent enough to make sure you're getting the reinforcements you need in classes that are very skill driven. So that's the way we use it. And then again, what we do is we prioritize this time right here for kids to learn outside the building. During the day. Go learn somewhere else and bring it back. That's really important. How many of your schools want to hire the best teachers when you have an opening? Everybody. Right? Everybody, right. It's a dumb question. Not really. How many people in your building, how many of your hiring committees revisit the mission statement before you hire? There's a little summer story. Yeah, good. Yay. That should be a given. How many of you feel like the questions you ask and the process that you make your potential hires go through speak to getting not just the best teacher, but the teacher that's right for the kind of learning you do in your school? Again, a handful of hands. So, for example, we don't ask, to me, we've let really, really, really good teachers go. At SLA, we've had those moments where we said, all right, great teacher, not right for us. The most important thing that you can ask someone is, do you teach and learn the way that we did? Because if not, what you end up is with mission drift. And I've seen so many schools do this. You know where we do this? You know where we really, really kill ourselves in this? Math. How many people, like English teachers, we can always find the crazy, freaky, progressive, write a paper, do something creative, put on a show, Glee, wannabe English teachers, right? I understand that I am a dime a dozen, I understand. But finding a good math teacher, oh my God, it's like impossible. So we give away, and I watched my old school do this. My old school did this amazing, amazing project-based math. Except we had a couple of bad hires in math. And our math department started to degrade. And my directors just wanted the best math teacher. So they brought somebody in who was an award-winning, amazing math teacher in the most traditional way possible. She chaired the department. And all of a sudden, math started saying, we don't want to do projects anymore. We want to give final exams. We don't want all of this stuff, because that's the way you learn math. Okay. Do you hire the best teacher, or do you hire the teacher that's best for you? And do you have a process by which you can actually try and get the best teacher for you? And that's just another place that stuff can live. So, the next thing I'm going to ask that you do, I have no idea how I'm doing that time. I don't know how your time. Terribly. Oh, good. Think about your zone of control inside your school. Whether you're a classroom teacher, if you're a classroom teacher, you must sit on a committee, because we all sit on committees. If you're a head of school, or whatever, somewhere within your zone of control, what is one system of structure, either in your school or your classroom, that you could change to better reflect your values and your mission? What is one thing? Again, 5 minutes, talk amongst yourselves. I know that we're running a little short on time, so we'll do that, we'll summarize, and we'll kind of wrap up. But what is one system that you could change within your zone of control to move yourself closer to that vision? Go.
further questions?